Hello, hello,
Hi.
Claire Bear.
All right.
Today I'm talking to you, Claire Bear, who lives in Lowestoft. And Claire, you have been in the British Army as a soldier. You left after 4 years, and you're now a poet doing a psychology degree, and you have Claire Bear guidance to help people on their journey. So, welcome to Joinavision Meets, and let's see, what do you have to reveal to us today?
Hi. Thank you for having me on here. Yeah, I joined the army when I was 18, so I'm 25 now, and I was sort of quite lost. Kind of didn't really want to be at home, so I joined the army at 18, and quite naively thought that it would be kind of what I wanted to do. I joined quite naively for sport and wanted to really be recognized for like who I am, and it really wasn't that. There were so many positives within it. I met amazing people, and but I realized quite quickly, not just because of who I am, but I went through something quite traumatic. I was sexually assaulted when I was 19 by a male that I worked with, and that happened when I was 19, and the army really didn't look after me. I had to ask to move barracks. I had to ask for like even just a small amount of support from the doctors, and then finally they put me on this like mental health nursing course rather than having like proper counselling for PTSD. And like fast forward 6 months, this was in 2015, I finally kind of arrived in my new barracks, and again I had to ask for support, and it was just this. Even now, even though I've done a lot of like the work, I've done a lot of healing aside from the mainstream because they really let me down. Yeah, I've it's still is it's just it's appalling, really. That's the only word for it. um and so yeah, I left in 2018, but I wasn't allowed to leave. I asked, can I leave, and I tried everything. I went self-destruct mode, heavy drinking. I was in a really, really bad place in my like sort of penultimate year of being in the army. And then when I realised they didn't care at all, I decided to take it upon myself to stop drinking. I knew like throughout my life, like nature's been like a constant, like always there for me when I've been through things when I was younger. So the thing to get me through is to get out walks in nature, to get out and to just be. I didn't know what that meant yet, but it was just that to feel held. And I'd go out and I'd cry. I'd go out and then as that kind of built, I started to realize, how grounding that was. I didn't realize then, but I stopped seeking approval of others. I started writing down how I felt, and then middle of 2018, I went along to Army Navy rugby in London, and I sat in the wrong seat because I didn't want to drink anymore with all the people I work with. And I sat next to this man who I got chatting to, because I seem to chat to everyone, and he turned out to be a life coach, but like more interested in that energy and law of attraction. And he literally honestly changed my life. Sounds so cliche, but his name is Adam, and he started to teach me about meditation, energy, allowing your heart to speak, allowing your feelings to come out, living with intention, the power of gratitude, the power of breath. And I literally went from a really dark place to starting to find the courage to share my story, whether on, to a couple of people or writing it on. I started a blog, and yeah, by the time I left the army, with his support, I'd managed to save up enough money because I'd learned the power of gratitude, and that if I, live from a place of lack, then I'm always going to be in a place of lack. I started to learn about abundance. I'd gone from being in debt to saving up to go around America, traveling for 2 months. And yeah, that again, I say a lot of things change my life, because they do, don't they? These powerful things that when you're ready for it. And I went, yeah, sorry.
That's amazing. That match that you should just, just sit down in the right place at the, that seat,
Yeah,
that person, and it changed the course of your life. That's
yeah. It's just, I think it shows, because I've always been a bit of a micromanager, and I know that when we feel out of control, which in the last year definitely, well, when nothing outside of us is within our control, is it? It's all within. And I kind of realized then, and I always go back to that, is that when we don't know what's waiting around the corner, like if we just trust and allow ourselves to be, the universe can surprise you, and it normally does. I don't know, does that, I
yes,
really feel that.
yes, yes, yes. It's
Yeah,
those small whisperings, and if we follow that guidance, then there's
yeah,
something much greater at work, isn't there? Yeah.
no,
And
yeah, it's just, yeah.
and you said you went round America on your own. So you were
Mm.
how old were you then? 20? No, when you left,
Yeah, oh, how old was I? 21? No, 22 then.
22.
Yeah, 22.
You went round
Um,
America on your own.
yeah, just, well, to be honest, I did some dangerous things. I went on like a Greyhound bus, and because I again still just quite free spirited and just wanted to experience, like, you know, freedom. And yeah, I met some amazing people. I got chatting to people and stayed on their couch. And looking back now, I probably wouldn't do that, but at the time it was awesome. And yeah, it was like, yeah, I tried to keep it, obviously. I wanted to go to like quite energetic places at that point, so I went to like Sedona.
Oh, right.
I had a lot of time in the Smoky Mountains. Went to the to North Carolina as well, and went to the Cherokee Reservation, and kind of realized then, like, deepen my connection with like nature. And that's kind of when my shamanic path started. And that realizing that we're made of nature, and then it's not outside of us. I think before then, when I'd learned from the life coach about all this stuff, I was really excited about crystals and energy, but it was all still like outside of me. I didn't realize how, we have to do the inner work as well.
And was it in Nebraska you found is he there, your bear?
Oh yeah. He's got a little broken foot, so I rescued him in this Cherokee reservation shop. And my spirit animal was a bear, and I hadn't realised up until then, like, my whole life had been called Clare Bear, and all my house, my bag, everything has always been bears. Like, every family member buys me gifts with bears, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Because I remember when I first contacted you, when you first joined Joinavision, and you had Clare Bear, and I sent you that picture of that army veteran who'd got the bear paw on his hand, because he had that tattoo, because when he was in Iraq, he wanted that bear courage. So, and then you said that you had been in the military too, so that was
There's a lot in that, isn't there? Because the bear's so like the protective, but it's nurturing and it's loving, but it's, you get on the wrong side of it, and there's that warrior spirit, isn't there?
Yes.
And there's a lot in that, isn't there? I think.
Yes, I think this person as well, he was in the medical corps, so he had that caring part as well as the
God, that's amazing. Yes. I just think there's so much more to what we do, isn't there, than our minds can ever comprehend. Like, I think I live by that. Oh, amazing. And it's, I think, I don't know if you resonate with this, but regardless of our beliefs, I think it's so important to just be yourself. And like, for a long time, I hid that side of me. So it's like, I fear of judgment, fear people don't resonate. A lot of my family they really follow the narrative and watch the news, and I don't resonate with any of that. And that divide has been quite a divide. But I think it's been really important this last year and the year and a half carry on sharing what you feel from the heart, regardless of people's views, that you're not going to hurt anyone by being you.
No, and if everybody can be their real selves, then everybody
Yeah.
would be in the right position at the right time, and everything would flow much more flowingly, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I don't know about you, but I always find, this is something I'm working on, is like not being who I think people want me to be, because in the end, your true self will come out. And I'm sure people are then disappointed they didn't know that earlier on. I've had that a few times where I hadn't told people about what I do or like the work I do, and then we've talked about something else not very interesting, like small talk, and then it's come out and it's like, oh, you do that. And I'm like, why didn't I say that sooner?
Yes, it's
Yeah,
this fear of judgment from others runs deep, doesn't it? Runs
it
deep
really
in all of our
does.
psyches, I think.
Yeah, and I think now more than ever is like, whatever you came here to do is for a reason, isn't it? And the more you can share that, the more you get into practice of being who you are, whether whatever that is, people will be drawn to you, won't they? If they're meant to be in your life, they'll
Yes, they
come in.
will find a way. Yes.
Yeah.
And your poetry is another side of you. The other side of your
Mm.
warrior side is this beautiful poetry you make. Have you got a poem there you could share with us?
Yeah. So this one I wrote quite sort of like early last year. So I didn't really realise I've only been doing poetry for like 2 years. They kind of started coming out when I did a lot of my shadow work or some of the more painful side of like my healing. And then this poem is called Your Stories.
Songs as well.
Yeah, I won't sing it. That'll probably be really.
Oh, can you sing it?
You don't want to hear me sing.
Oh, well, I can edit it out if it sounds like a bear, but if it sounds like a bear, it's probably wonderful too.
No, maybe one day I'll sing. Maybe at an event. So, this is Your Stories. We are trudging through dark waters, praying for relief from all the pain. We are closing doors and masking smiles until we next can meet again. There will always be the dark through which we can learn to love, like the deep roots in dark soil that allow trees to soar above. Only nature is without judgment and never questions how to grow, honouring all of its seasons and allowing life to flow. There's no better time than now to learn from the nature that we're made and to notice where our wounds and dark have left us divided and afraid. You may be feeling silenced and at a loss with all you see, but know the light within your heart is the very thing that will set you free. Your words are pearls of wisdom, so share the stories of your soul as a tale to teach another, to make this planet whole.
That's beautiful. Yes.
Thank you.
And about sharing your soul with others, that's lovely.
Yeah.
And you share those poems with the where are we? Suffolk, the Suffolk writing group. Is that right?
Yeah. So I've been a part of their online group for a little while, and that's been really powerful for me because I used to. This is quite a theme. Like, used to hide a lot of that. I just thought, well, why would people want to hear that? And I don't know about you, but I've always found, I've been brought up anyway, like society has been, don't be ego, don't be, cocky or anything like that. But actually, if it's from the heart, then that's never cocky. That's expression, isn't it? And so I kind of started sharing on my Facebook group that I had, and for women, and that was a big part of my healing journey, was sharing that. And then I started running like creative workshops, and that's when I started doing meditation groups for women. Was through that holding space, because I never really had that. I'd never really had that like sacred space held where you could talk about how you feel, meditate, and if sometimes if the energy, if it worked or if it aligned, then we do like writing. And that's been a big part of my journey, which that's why I do this now.
Do you do that with groups now in Lowestoft, do you, or are you
Yeah.
still, because of on lockdown and last year, did you do that online or in person?
Yeah, so for the last 4 months, been doing it in person. We've got a really nice community centre that don't really follow rules, which was, again, feels like the universe was
They're
saying.
like,
I
"Oh,
was like, they're in there, they're hiding, don't they? Go protect themselves. And yeah, so but throughout last year, I did it on Zoom, but it's so much more powerful in person.
yes.
And yeah, that's been awesome. There's not really much round. There hasn't been much round Lowestoft area in the way of meditation, so it's
Right.
kind of taken off. It's been quite busy these last couple of months.
Fantastic. So you're spreading the word in Lowestoft.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's so powerful. That's why I really resonate so much with Joinavision and like your message about the community. Like it's not about, no, I'll start again. It's so important, isn't it, to have all our different backgrounds, all our different gifts come together. I just find that it's just so powerful when you're in that space, isn't it?
It is, and it's sort of honouring each person's unique thread without trying to overshadow or dominate or control or try and what's happening at the moment in the external world, isn't it? Everybody's one size fits all, but I think within Joinavision, it's recognising each person's completely unique, like a
Absolutely.
but like a snowflake or anything in nature, it's got its own unique blueprint.
Absolutely. And I think having that when because we only moved from Cardiff last year. My mum's originally from Framlingham, so I'd known Suffolk and I'd lived here from 12 to 18, but I've moved away, gallivanted off and come back. But it was quite isolating when I first moved to a beautiful area. There's a lovely people chatting, but that's all they do. They chat and then they'd be back to doing what they're doing. And had I not found Joinavision and kind of realised that we're not alone, that's been the most, because my partner and I really felt like, oh my goodness, what we're doing. Are we the only ones that feel like this? And there is that. I think there's a lot of people out there that feel like that.
So in your age group, in your 20s, what's the kind of ratio of people you know who are on board with how you think and feel, and compared to
I think I know 3 people locally, 20 to 30, and then most of the women who come to my meditation groups and that are on the sort of same wavelength, they're in their 40s and their 50s. So there's a group of us, 30 to 40s, who created a little Telegram group and go walking, and that's been really powerful. But there aren't that many. There's only like 20 of us.
Gosh, I'm surprised. I'd have thought there'd be more. Well, yes, you need to gather the troops, 20-year-olds.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think they must be in there somewhere, or fearing being the one to break the mold. I think, because I remember I've been out before and people kind of stare at you mask free a lot, and I just do a big grin, and people do eventually smile through the mask, but it's kind of, I think a lot of people fear.
It's the fear. So much fear out there at the moment, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Again, and the fear of judgment and fear of not doing the right thing. And
absolutely. And I went the other day, on a whim, went to this wonderful tattoo studio, and turns out I'd met this lady, the tattooist. I didn't realise, I hadn't put 2 and 2 together. She'd been at Stand in the Park that I go to, and it was one of these really uplifting conversations. And we were just talking about how important it is to not go down the rabbit hole. I know it's a balance, but for myself, I've gone down the focusing too much on the fear and what we haven't got, and not, it's like the balance, isn't it? The Libra balance. And really like focusing on what we do have and what we want to create, which is why I love Joinavision, like resonates so much with that.
Yes, it's that fine balance, isn't it, of witnessing what's happening in the shadows without getting emotionally embroiled in the energy of fear, and seeing it and acknowledging it and knowing that that's part of what's going on, but it doesn't need to actually take us over. We just need to
No.
focus on building the new, and the old's going to die anyway. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And trusting that. I think that's been an enormous thing for me. I think for everyone.
And we're still not out of the woods yet. I don't think we're going to be out of the woods in any. Well, it's a process. It needs to take its time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for myself, I've like attached to it happening quickly, or at times I've got hopeful, and I know that meant I needed to go and do my own healing in certain areas. That if I'm wanting to rush this process, then I go within, because a few times I'd be like, oh, when's this going to be over? But you're right, it's a process, isn't it?
And it seems at the moment we're going to have another pincer on us all to get the next level through, you know, with more restrictions and more clampdowns, freedom on one hand and more restrictions on the other. But finding that inner peace, as you were saying, through the meditation group, we're finding in that space there's no restriction anyway. We're free already.
Absolutely, and it's amazing you say that, because sort of maybe Christmas time or just after Christmas, I used to ride horses near Norwich, and on my drive there, my space was in the car, and I would just get a lot of my rage out, and I would just be like, I feel so restricted, I'm so angry, and you know that negative energy from people in masks, or people that even if they're not saying anything, you can just feel that they're throwing hate at you, and just picking up on all that energy. And I caught myself like, we're physically restricted, but I had this realization that we're only as restricted as like we perceive we are. And actually nature was there all along, and that I found a lot of peace in that actually we have a lot more than we realize. For myself anyway, maybe it's different for other people, but
I think, as you're saying, nature, I mean, I know that for me the big comfort is hearing the birds sing. And I remember seeing some footage on the news. I think it was the Syrian, after one of the bombing attacks in Syria. It was on the news a couple of years ago, and the footage showed these horrendous things happening, and then this bird flew across the camera. And that somehow it struck me that this bird flew across free, whatever, or would have been singing, yet this human devastation was happening all around it. And it was this kind of weird paradox of the natural world continues, and what we have put over that natural world with our civilization and our hatred and our mental constructs, that's where the I can't remember what I'm saying now. I can't have it out.
No, how powerful that is.
I've gone on a wandering.
Well, I can see it though, like, because it does. Nature goes on, doesn't it? And I think we've just become so detached from the fact that we are nature.
Yes, it's not a separate thing. It's all one field, and playing out.
And I love birds as well. So I got distracted with your thought as well.
Yes, there's a goldfinch which woke me up this morning on the wire, and it's like that lovely goldfinch. Whatever was going on, that goldfinch was still singing. It was I don't know. And
there's so much we can learn from that, because when we were in Cardiff, we lived in a flat, and I had this little robin who used to come and just sit on the balcony. And the more and more I connected with it, the more I realized how much, obviously it's so beautiful, and for so long I was like, wow, nature, and I was like, no, it's like a mirror, isn't it? If you're open to receive it, that says a lot about you as well. And everything is so interconnected. I just don't, up until the last couple of years, I've never gone slow enough to realize, and my belief is that we're so powerful, that's obviously why they needed to control us, and that we're always gonna find our power again. And that's a good feeling. Obviously it's not, because people are suffering, but it's also good to know that we are that powerful, and that I'm going off on one now, but do you know what I mean?
Yes, 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 exactly. We're much more than just this physical form, you know, we're
Yeah,
multidimensional in our nature. So
yeah,
this is just a tiny little smidgen, you know, what we identify as this person here. It's just tiny. And when you see,
yeah.
once you start accessing the wider body, the bigger body,
Mm.
it's
Oh,
you realize our immense power and strength
mm,
once that
mm,
we stop identifying with just this little small me,
mm.
me, can't do this, I can't do that.
I know. It tries though, doesn't it?
Oh
Why
God.
are you doing that? Who do you think you are?
And yeah, so you've been in the army, you just slipped in that one, another of your multi talents. You horse riding as well.
Oh yeah. So that's the thing when I was younger, I had a real love for horses, but more of I enjoy riding but prefer just being around them. Um, just I feel they are the epitome of freedom. Well, they do, like the spirit of the horse is freedom,
Mm.
and they have such healing abilities. Um, yeah, they're just. I've met this. So I have two dogs. One's really a bit naughty and one's really well behaved. And I was walking down at the beach, really dishevelled, hair everywhere. And this lovely lady was like, "Are you okay?" And I just thought, "Oh, how lovely." I was like, "Yeah, I'm all right." I mean, I have a bit of a meltdown. And we got chatting. And she was a one-to-one dog trainer. And I've been waiting for a long time to meet somebody to help me with the dog
Right.
because I don't really want to go to these group classes. And turns out she's got a horse and she's spiritual. And it's just, another one of those, if you just trust, people will come into your life when you're ready. And yeah, I don't know why I just told that story, but
Well, yes, it's more confirmation, isn't it, that some people are leaving. I think a lot of people are finding old friends and things are leaving, and other ones are
yeah,
coming in like a revolving door.
yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah. And old ways as well, like things we used to do and
Yeah.
lots of release rituals and saging the house. Yeah, it's a fun process.
And I didn't mention that you're setting up also a Mind Body Spirit Fair, or is it a health fair in
Yeah.
What that's coming up
So
in August.
yeah, Saturday, 7th of August. It's called Wellbeing Fest, and we've got like ecstatic dance, yoga, meditation, um, and different like craft stalls as well as like massage. And so that's 11 till 4 in Alton Broad. There's a Facebook event for it and Eventbrite as well. But yeah, it's my first one, and
So
just
you
there's nothing wrong with
that's up on your own, or was there a team of you? Just
me with a dance teacher who's she's helping out as well. And yeah, I think it's we've got the whole outside area and the entire like community centre, and there's gonna be food there, like vegetarian and vegan food, and
okay, yes.
yeah. If anyone wants to get involved, like doing a stall or anything, then please do contact me because
Yes, I'll put that at the bottom when I post this.
yeah.
So, great. And is there anything else, Claire Bear, you would like to share? Claire Bear, share.
Love a bit of rhyming. No, I think I've already shared quite a lot. I've probably overshared.
No, no, no. It's lovely to speak to you. So,
Yeah, you.
and yeah, well, good luck with the Alton Broad event. And
Thank
I
you.
expect I shall see you there, meet you in
Yeah,
person.
yeah, look forward to it.
So,
Thank you for having me on.
thank you very much for sharing your experiences, and see you. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.